Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. No, I'm not dead, I am here. My tank is still churning along and I figured it was high time I give you an update on all things Parker's Reef. All right, thank you for joining me on another episode of Parker's Reefs. And yeah, it has been a while since the last video. For those of you who have been hanging out waiting for this video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. The last couple of months have absolutely gone by like just like a huge blur, to be honest. I did start a new job a little while ago, which to be honest is not the reason for the lack of videos. The little gap just while I changed from one job to the other job did just give me a little chance to take a breath from making YouTube videos. And for those who have followed the channel for some time now, I'm actually up over 610 videos, which if you've ever made a YouTube video before, you will know how much effort it takes to make a video, and 610 of them is quite a lot of work. So just having a couple of months breather and stepping away from the scene just was a really nice opportunity to recharge the batteries at a time that I really did need it. Now, I am back with a video now, but I will openly say now, I won't be pumping out 2 videos a week every week like I have been before. It'll take me a little while to get that kind of momentum back up again, but on this video, I figured it was long overdue a time to give you an update on the Dream Reef tank, because whilst I haven't been filming and I probably haven't had as much energy for the tank as I normally do, it's actually been a fantastic thing for this Dream Reef tank. The old saying, hands out of the tank make things grow fast, is absolutely been the case here. My calcium reactor, my kalkwasser reactor, everything's been turned up to the max because this tank is just chewing elements like no tomorrow. And I'll give you a top down and we'll go through the tank in a minute and have a look at some of my favorite corals, a couple of new additions, and just show you how things are growing, because to be honest, it's kind of blowing my mind a little bit just how fast things are taking off. And I've got to say, I'm not sure how well it comes off on camera, but the colors are looking really, really nice as well. We'll have a look at the fish and what's happening there. I'll talk about equipment, but to be honest, there hasn't really been any changes to equipment. I've got some new bits and pieces that I want to put on this tank that I have not even found the time or energy to do yet, but we'll talk about those a little bit later. So I guess it's probably time to get the camera in nice and close, give you guys a good look at the Dream Reef tank, because it gets about 2.5 years old now, believe it or not, and is really hitting its pace. So let me grab that camera, I'll get a filter on there, we'll get these lights dialed in and I'll give you a good close look at how everything's running. All right, let's take you guys in for a nice close look at the tank. We'll start off out the front and then I will get the DSLR out and we'll have a look from the top down. But starting over here, in fact, let's come back around the side here, because one thing that's growing like an absolute banana is this red Monty cap. I know they're a fast growing coral, but it just adds layer upon layer upon layer. And when you see from the top down, you'll see actually how just how big it is. It's a good dinner plate size there with a good 8 or so layers to it. A couple of pieces down here which are doing really cool is this little chalice garden I got going down here. These guys weren't doing so well, and then I moved them over. Yes, fish, I see you there. I moved them into this sort of shaded area here, and they've been going really well. Some other pieces that sort of came back from the death once I moved them over to here is both this glitter goni here that I picked up from Nick's aquarium in Queensland, and also this beautiful gold torch also from Nick. These two pieces had actually started to die off a little bit, and when they retract, you can actually see both the gold torch on the front here and the goni on the front here. Both have got a little bit of skeleton, but as soon as the lights are on, they get some good extension, and they're both doing really, really well. Hiding in the shadows, well, trying to keep them in the shadows, but they keep moving out. So my little morph garden there, I've got some Rhodactis, I've got a white bounce there, I've got the sun-kissed bounce, if you can see through all of the fish you think I'm going to feed them, and of course the nice orange rick there going really well. And speaking of chalice, I've got a couple more here. I've got this nice rainbow chalice here doing its thing there, and this is what is called a rainbow gold chalice. It's kind of hard to see the rainbow in it, but yeah, it's there. And I should actually point out there is one more coral up the back there that I've stuck on the back wall. If I can get the camera to focus with all of the fish coming around to have a look, it's kind of hard to see from there. Probably better to show you from the top down, but it's a nice Sunfire Monty cap there, which is a green and red grafted Monty with yellow polyps, and I could just say it's looking really nice and growing quite fast. You can see it's growing up onto the wall there. It started off as a smallish frag, and it's come along quite well. Got this nice blue acro here that I tried about 3 times to stick it upright. It kept on falling over, so I left it there. You can see just how many branches have shot up from it while it's being laying on the side. So that is always good. One thing that has paid the price is this low light smooth skin acro that I put down there getting shaded by the Monty Cap. The Monty Cap has unfortunately just shaded it a little too much. Now over here my hammer garden's doing well, although I did just clean my wave makers, and this poor hammer slash frammer here is getting a little bit more flow than it's used to. There's Percy the fish. What a dude he is. Super cool guy, just sits around looking at you with those little eyes darting about. But, you can see the hammer garden's all doing pretty well. I have noticed some of my fish like to have a nip of course, my showpiece gold hammer, which is a real pain in the rear, but you know, they don't seem to kill it, which is always good. There's one of the prime suspects, Prius, my hybrid angel, likes to have a nip at it. I have caught my purple tang Prince having a go at it, and then I think it was just monkey see, monkey do, but Onyx, my gem tang, then likes to go in a follow up with a little nip of his own, which I'd prefer he didn't. Thankfully, no one's been nipping at them today, so they're all nice and full. In fact, you see the hammer garden spilling over there. There's another goni, red goni down in there doing its thing, and also this beautiful Montipora Dene garden that I picked up from Nick last time he was down in Victoria. It's doing it really well, which is great. Up here, these acros are just, I mean, they're just going ballistic. The nice, what I'm calling Blues Clues, this beautiful Locani piece here is just getting so many different shades of blue on it. It's pretty cool. The Toxic Candy Cane's going well. Even this piece of red Digis just was a little broken piece off a colony that is sort of struggling to get some airtime behind the blue Digi there. I broke a little frag off and stuck it down there, and it's growing like crazy. This pretty ugly colored tabling acro back there is just growing like crazy. I'm gonna have to start trimming that back because it's gonna start shading right over to my hammers soon. Big blue and green acro doing well. One of my favorite pieces, this Monty, hasn't grown up a lot, hasn't grown out, but when we get it top down, you'll see in there some of the branching out's growing quite well. Pieces up here going really well. All the pieces in there are doing well, apart from that smooth skin that I touched on is just getting a little bit too shaded from growth. Over here you can see a little bit of that cyano I was talking about. Nothing crazy, and it's working its way out, but it is still there, which is a touch annoying. I did have a little bit of fighting between the PC Rainbow and some other pieces next to it there. You know, it happens. I'm not too fussed about if that dies. The PC Rainbow, I do have a couple of other bits throughout the tank, so, you know, can't lose too much sleep over these things. Red TNT is doing really good. Red Dragon's doing good. My beautiful blue furry acro behind there is doing good. I'll be sure to give you a view of that from the top down. And green stag, I keep trimming back. Got some more red dragon up there, probably getting a little bit too much light. Blue Digi, I take a handful of that out every time I touch the tank. And then I've got this beautiful golden acro over there, which is a pretty new addition. Really keen to see how it colors up, but it's probably an awesome time to segue into getting the DSLR out, and we'll have a look at the colors from the top down, because I think that's where you can really see where the tank's been growing nicely. But it is nice to have a little pan across the tank from right to left, just to see how it's sitting at about the 2.5 year mark, which ultimately I think it's looking really good, especially considering the lack of attention I've given it over the last couple of months. All right, here we are top down. I'll start over from the left side since we started on the right hand side. You can see the Walt Disney's going just fine there. Here is the PC Rainbow that I said is just RTNing from the inside out, potentially related to that low calcium. See the really nice yellow and red polyped acro there. Space Invaders Pectinia doing well. You can see a little bit of cyano there in the sand. That's only the last little sort of remnants of it around this left-hand side of the tank, but big red Recordia going fine there. Got a nice little golden Frammer down there, or frog spawn doing well. Nice gold Dene doing well. Got this really nice sort of tabling out acro, which is finding some space to grow. See the nice TNT Anacapora there. The color looks a little odd on the screen there, but it looks really nice indeed. And then if you pan up here, just behind the Walt Disney, I put this poorly placed green stag because it doesn't really contrast the Walt Disney that well. And man, this thing grows fast. It's difficult to show the size of it. I can see a nice Aptasia hiding in the branches of it there. It's a very, very fast growing piece indeed. Over to the left here, got a couple of beautiful coloured pieces. That real hairy blue acro next to some red dragon there. Got another, I think that's a millie in there, just growing away. This beautiful yellow millie, it's got some really nice colours, green encrusting. See another new acro there, wild one there. Up the top, I've got my red polyp Dallas is finally starting to encrust, although I see a couple of little baby aptasias and bubble algae around there, so we'll have to sort that out. Got some more red dragon back there. Here is a blue stag that has just paled a little bit, and then I've got a nice blue acro in beneath it there. The blue stag is, it's branching out in some odd directions. I might have to sort of bonsai that up a little bit. This pink bird's nest there is probably getting a little too much light, much like this red dragon here, but it is growing, so that's always a bonus. Got this blue and green taut, I think it is, that just grows like no tomorrow. That thing, I'm constantly trimming back. Over here I've got a nice, a fairly smooth skin green piece there, green digi. I've got this just recovering red millie or spath here that is colouring up more and more each day. It's still a little brown. Here's this gold acro, and that's a pretty awkwardly cut shape piece, but I think it's going to be a showstopper once it settles in. Got that nice bright red piece there, really cool placement. Lobo copping a heap of light, but loving it. Green torch doing well there. Little goni down there in the sand, kicking along. Bubble algae doing good. This nice, I think that's a red blossom of some sort there. Got a nice variant, a nice Cadbury purple in there. Some nice, fairly standard highlighter yellow pieces there. Red goni. There is a nice fireworks there, a little offcut of a taut on the sand that is just growing fine. Over here's a pretty cool little addition. I've got a Monty there just trying to grow over the top, if I can get the fish out of the way, of a fireworks acro. Got the toxic candy cane there, and the piece that I'm calling Blues Clues, that smooth skin, beautiful piece, multiple colors or multiple shades of blue in it, and really contrasts this cherry red piece next to it. I like this tabling pink acro up here. It's finally finding a bit of space to branch out, and the orange millie with green polyps next to it. To the left of that, there's a purple and green piece that died and is coming back. This up here had beautiful yellow tips when I got it. Unfortunately, the yellow tips have remained, but the brown has gone through the body. We'll see what that does. You can see another similar variant there with purple with the green tips. We've got some green goblin up there. Got a piece that bit the dust a little while ago next to that, unfortunately. Here's the first acro I put in the tank. It's still trucking on quite well. A very thick growing piece. Another bit of red dragon there, really growing fast. Very much enjoying it there. And then you can see that red Monty that it's difficult to show how it's growing vertically there, but it is doing quite well. Got this green and blue monster just taking over the tank. Beautiful cherry bomb, I believe it is in there. Actually, no, the cherry bomb is up there. The other one's just a nice red millie. You can see a couple of nice other blues hiding over the back there. That one's a little bit of a thinner branched piece, and it's just fighting with that blue and green piece next to it. Bangite Gardener likes to chill just under that ledge there. Got a nice tabling red and green piece there, a bit of green pokey there. A couple of different strawberry shortcakes. There is a cherry bomb there that's got a little bit of a dead patch on the side from the flow. Another strawberry shortcake, and then this big, what I call ugly tabling piece, but it does give the tank a nice bit of structure. You see the Monty Garden down below there that I picked up from Nick's Aquarium. That's got some really cool variants to it, and looks really good. I'm happy with how it's going. See my Hammer Garden, they're all doing really well, except for that one that's not adjusting to the additional flow from the wave makers today. It's funny because that's normally the one that is taking over the rest of the hammers, but it's normally one sulking, and I'm kind of happy it's that one for a change because the rest look great. Really cool color variants in there, just set each other off very, very nice. Got this fairly hairy pink piece there, a couple of little cyano patches in the middle of it, but the green goblin to the left of that is very bright indeed, and there's that blue acro that I touched on before. It's getting very nice growth and great polyp extension, and it's one of the brightest things in the tank, so I'll gladly take that. Got a nice smooth skin purple there, and we'll go up to the back wall where you can see this new Monty cap that I put in. You can see the colors of it there really nicely. It's got some red bleeding through it and those nice bright polyps on it. That was a decent sized frag, I will say, that I picked up from Aquamarine Aquaristic, but it's growing very quickly. Maybe not quite as quick as this monster red cap that's I'm going to have to start snapping that back a little bit more than I have been, because it's an absolute beast. And like I did touch on, it has shaded that deep water acro below it. Despite that, I do have a blue stag growing through it, and even a fruity pebbles acro there growing into both the blue stag and the red cap. Then down here you can see that gold torch, the bounce rhodactus, the glitter goni, and actually I'll see if I can, just miss that white bounce in there. There's the top down of that rainbow chalice, which gives you a little bit better view of the colors on it, and the gold rainbow chalice. I think that's pretty much everything from the top down. All right, next up is fish. Now, this has been an area that has taken a few hits to my soul. I haven't had the best of luck adding fish the last few times, and in fact, you may recall I added my dream fish to this system a few months ago now in a feminist wrasse, and it didn't make it, is the short and tall of it. I have told you that on this channel before, but I do still get people asking me where the wrasse is, because it was an absolutely gorgeous fish, and it did cost a pretty penny as well. And unfortunately, a week in this tank was all I got out of him. Now, I have been watching the fish and behaviors in there. I definitely haven't come across any pests, any sort of disease or anything like that in the system. In fact, all of the existing fish have been doing absolutely beautifully, but any new fish added to the system really went through a baptism of fire behind closed doors, because there wasn't really any kind of aggression shown to these fish in front of me. I can only assume it was when I was out of the room or overnight or something like that. So I had the feminist wrasse. Unfortunately, didn't get through the first week in the system. I added a pair, or added a match or a mate for my single Bangai cardinal in here, which unfortunately did not get through the week. Fish that I have added that have actually made it through, though, I have added a long-nosed hawk after following the advice from Reef Dork, who has a number of different hawks in his system, including some flame hawks and a long-nosed hawk. So I was super keen to add one of those, and I did add him in. I'm not sure where he is right now. I'll get some footage of him, but I can see Percy down here, my little sand perch. He is the second fish I've added that has thankfully got through the baptism of fire, and he's a super cool little dude. Not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but has really cool personality. And I also love the name we gave him, Percy. My family do watch Riverdale on Netflix, and there was a bad guy on there called Percival Pickens, and this dude, just with his sort of dark colors and real inquisitive eyes, kind of got that bad dude attitude. And the fact that he didn't take any of that presumed aggression to heart, and has been thriving in the tank, really fits the nature for Percival Pickens. So that's Percy. He's been a cool addition. All of my other fish have been doing well. There is one notable absentee that didn't die. I just actually caught him this morning and removed him. That was the second cleaner wrasse that I've tried in this tank. You may recall I had a cleaner wrasse in here, a bicolor cleaner wrasse, I think it was, which wasn't your standard sort of cleaner wrasse that, in hindsight, probably should not be collected from the ocean. He is not a false cleaner wrasse, which a lot of people thought he was. Some fish that imitate cleaner wrasse and actually bite your fish and eat them. This guy was a genuine cleaner wrasse. He just cleaned a little too hard in a closed ecosystem like this, and eventually gave what I would describe my fish as deodorant patches under their little fins there. He just bited them too hard and just too often and wear them out. I didn't have that problem with this cleaner wrasse, but I did suspect he's potentially the fish that was stressing the new additions, mainly because of the interaction I saw between him and Percy. No other fish gave two hoots at all when I added Percy to the tank, but my standard cleaner wrasse did this weird sort of little dance around him, and seemed a little bit odd. And then I also just saw the cleaner wrasse just keeping things like my Royal Grammar and Orchid Dotty back in line. He also tried to get into Dipper, the long-nosed hawk, who's just come out for camera up there. We called him Dipper because in Australian rules football there is a team called Hawthorn, the Hawthorn Hawks, and one of the famous Hawthorn players is Dipper. He's got a much longer name than that, but everyone just calls him as Dipper, and he has a pretty long nose, so long-nosed hawk, Dipper it is. Now, I did see that cleaner wrasse just give these fish a little bit of a hard time, and recently I've just been monitoring the health of my blonde Naso tang here, and I just noticed when she was a little lethargic, the cleaner wrasse would really target in on her and just basically take advantage of her not having the energy to chase him away. Now, she seems to be doing fine now. She's eating, she's peaceful, but she did just look lethargic for a couple of days. And yeah, that cleaner wrasse looked like he was just getting the better of her. So once I saw that, that was it. I got the fish trap out, and I actually had it out last night, and I caught him within about 2 or 3 minutes, and then trying to get the box out of the tank, I unfortunately let him back out of the trap, so I didn't bother trying to catch him again last night. And then this morning I put the trap back in, caught him in probably 3 or 4 minutes this morning, and this time I made sure I didn't let him back out of the trap. He's now living happily and healthily in my frag tank. Hopefully my Australian stripey and my Desjardini sailfin don't mind him too much in there. I'll have to monitor that, otherwise I'll have to rehome him if he's causing them any sort of trouble. But I guess it's only been a day since I've removed that fish, and things are all looking pretty good. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that was the missing link in trying to add new fish to the system. I'll potentially test that theory with a new addition this weekend. I'll check out what Deer Park Aquarium have there Saturday. I will be working there, as I have been every Saturday. I will also dispel the rumors I don't own any shares or any part of that business. I've heard some weird rumors going around that I bought it off my good friend Dave, or I bought half of the business with Dave. I love Deer Park Aquarium and I love Dave as a guy, but I'm not about to get involved in the fish industry and buy a shop. It's an absolutely ridiculously difficult gig. My hat goes off to everyone out there that runs a fish shop, because I think 99.99% of people out there take for granted just how much work these guys do, and girls, to keep these local fish store doors open for us to just walk in and maybe criticize the quality of fish or coral or dry goods they have. So I will be working at Deer Park Aquarium every Saturday, including this Saturday, and I'll have a look and see what fish are there. I'm keen to try and add some more fish. I do want to get into the world of wrasse. Obviously, cleaner wrasse haven't worked out well for me, and I don't quite have the budget to go a second feminist wrasse, but we'll see what else there is. There's some pretty cool Lenardis getting about here in Australia, which are a gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Can be a little bit more difficult, so I'm not sure if it's really the best fish to dip my toe in the water again after maybe getting burnt once or twice. But we'll see. If not a Lenardi, maybe something a bit hardier like a lineatus, maybe a Labuti, which is a beautiful wrasse as well, but they are maybe a touch harder than a lineatus. Lineatus are about as hardy as they get, so that's probably the right way to go. But I'll have a chat to Dave on Saturday and we'll see what sort of fish there are then. Now, equipment-wise, like I touched on, nothing's actually changed on the tank. I just haven't really had the appetite to buy any new equipment or change anything on there. I will say that both the Mastertronic and the Reef Bot Lab are still running on this tank, and no, I cannot tell you which one is better, because they both have their pros and cons, and they're also both pretty similar. So have a look at both options out there and see which one is the best for you if you are in the market for an automated reef tester. One thing I will say that I have bought and I haven't added yet is the Dosetronic, which will obviously connect up to my Mastertronic, and that will allow me to automate some dosage of some minor trace elements and just keep things that I can't test and dose automatically under control. So I did touch on earlier, this tank's going through a real growth spurt at the moment, and things that I've never really had massive issues with before, like calcium, are getting consumed by and far way more than they ever have before. Now, calcium's a really awkward one to test for. You can't really do it with things like a KH Guardian or any of the other slew of automated alkalinity testers out there. So I do have my Mastertronic testing calcium for me, and I'm really excited to add the Dosetronic to that, just to keep the calcium level exactly where I want it, which FYI is about 440 to 460 ppm. This tank, whilst going unchecked at times, has got as low as 360 ppm, which was also verified by Triton ICP in calcium, whilst I was maintaining my alkalinity at the desired level. In fact, I've actually bumped my alkalinity up a little bit, which probably contributed to my calcium coming down, because I did have, and I've still got a little patch over here, a little bit of cyano just hanging around. So I have been raising the alkalinity up to try and get that out the door. And I think as a result, my calcium's dropped a little bit, and left unchecked, it hasn't actually caused any issues as far as I've seen, but it's probably not going to be helping the corals. I believe low calcium causes them, particularly SBS, to be quite brittle. It's not something I've experienced yet, but I am keen to add the Dosetronic to it, which for those of you who don't know, is a dosing pump. It's got 5 heads on it there, and it can connect to your Mastertronic to do dosages or alter dosages based off your Mastertronic results. I won't go on in any more detail than that because it's probably warranted of a video all on its own, and we'll see when I get some time to set this up. I'll see if I can be bothered getting the camera out to record it. Chances are I probably will, just to take you through the setup and show you what's possible with a system like that. But other than that, nothing has changed. My lights are still cranking along. I've got to say I'm half tempted or fairly tempted to take the Orthec OR3 light bars off and replace them with some of the AI blades. They've recently just come out, and I got to say, a bit like when the Philips came out, from the specs I was not all that enthusiastic. In fact, I thought they'd kind of missed the mark. And then once I saw them in person, I'm damn impressed. What a beautiful light. Really good power, really good spread, still good shimmer. The best thing is the color. The color of their Coral Grow light is not the Coral Glow, but their Coral Grow light is exactly in the spectrum I like. So I don't know, do I replace 4 of these light bars with 4 of the AI blades? I don't know, we'll see. It's a bit of coin, and I'm trying not to spend too much money on the aquarium at the moment, but they do look really nice. And I don't know, it's a good excuse when your corals are growing really fast to give them more light, because you're going to start getting a little bit more shading. That's what I tell myself when I need to add more lights to this tank anyway. Alright guys, I will wrap the video up there. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It really does mean a lot to me, and I also want to give a massive shout out to everyone out there that has reached out over the last couple of months just to touch base and see if I was okay. I appreciate that I probably didn't leave the channel with the right amount of information and just went AWOL, which did raise a few concerns. I can assure you I am alive. The tank hasn't crashed. I haven't fled the country, nothing like that. Everything is totally fine. I just needed a nice little bit of R&R, and I gotta say I've really enjoyed playing some retro video games of late. I have expanded my collection of 90s video games that I never remotely had the opportunity to get my hands on when I was a bit younger. Things like the Philips CDI, the Panasonic 3DO, the NEC PC engine, Sega Mega CD, all of these consoles that as a 15, 16-year-old lad back in the 90s, just dreamt of seeing them in person, let alone owning them and playing them, and having the opportunity to play those of late has been really cool. And that's probably explained where most of my time has gone away from the filming and editing of YouTube. But I will make a dedicated effort to get some more videos out. I'm going to try and get to maybe 1 a week over the next few months and just see how we go with that, and then maybe we'll stretch back out to 2 a week. I do really appreciate all of my channel members who have stuck by me, all of the channel subscribers, all you guys out there, and last but not least, everyone who watches these videos and interacts either via the comments or the thumbs up. Goes a long way to giving me the motivation and energy to get back in front of the camera and talk to you guys about reef tanks, which ultimately is what we all enjoy. Now, I'll wrap things up there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Till next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers, bye.